Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm gonna play Eldritch Horror. Once again, in these days where most playthroughs are about Arkham Horror 3rd edition, of course. I mean, you know, Eldritch Horror is yesterday, basically. But honestly, if you know me, I like to play yesterday's games a lot, and I don't like Arkham Horror 3rd edition. Although I'm a big fan of the second one, I think that is a real masterpiece. I think the third one is, well, actually, to be honest, pretty boring. Anyway, let's do this, and I'm gonna include now the Masks of Nyarlathotep, which is the last expansion of the Eldritch Horror series product line, and it doesn't come out with a new board like the other big box expansions did. It adds a few more investigators. It adds 2 additional ancient ones, or I think it might be just 1 ancient one and 1 scenario or something. And it also adds a campaign mode for some people that might be of interest. In addition, we have now personal stories for the investigators, which is okay. You know, I don't think this changes the game terribly much, but it's okay. You know, it adds a little bit here and there. One thing which kind of really confused me a bit was that they actually came up with a new rule, a new action, which allows you, it says you can gather resources, which is something that basically you can you know, it shifts the balance a little more towards the investigators, and I find that very, very interesting. Even after 3 big box expansions, they seem to be not really happy with the balance. I mean, they did, I think, 4 minor expansions and 3 big box expansions, and they still had a feeling that it would have been necessary to change actually the rules. I mean, that tells you something about them, right? And it's a little weird. And it's not the first time they did that. They also did that already with the second with the first expansion, basically, when they introduced the focus action. It seems they realized there that this is far too luck driven, you know, in a bad way, I think. And the base without the focus, it was really sometimes a disaster. And but even then, you know, it often felt unfair and not really, yeah. I ended often up in a situation where I played for 2 hours, and it was pretty obvious I had lost. But then I know, okay, the game technically goes on for 2 or 3 more hours. And that can be pretty frustrating. I wonder that issue might be now a little fixed. Maybe you can avoid these completely hopeless situations easier. Maybe the balance goes a little more toward the investigators now. But we're going to see about that. We're simply going to give it a shot. So, got a feeling with every expansion that comes up, the setup is getting bigger and bigger. I think it's by now, I'm pretty sure it is by now bigger than the Arkham Horror setup, and that means a lot, and it is definitely bigger because you have all these condition stacks, which you don't have in Arkham Horror. You have the artifacts and all. So there is, I think there is overall, I mean, you have less stacks of encounters, so, I don't know. Anyway, let's start this. I can already say we have a great starting conditions, and I didn't cheat here, but it looks pretty good here. So let's start with the investigators. We have here Vincent Lee, and he's the doctor. So let's see about his background story. After the third or fourth mutilated body showed up during his time at St. Mary's Hospital in Arkham, Vincent Lee began to suspect that this was no simple case of wild animal attacks. When a young man died screaming in his sleep from a burst heart, Vincent knew for a fact that dark times were ahead. Taking a leave of absence from his position at the hospital, he has set out to ease the suffering of those afflicted by the spreading chaos, hoping that the trail of bodies will lead him to the answers he craves. So the guy starts in India, down here. There he is. And he starts with bandages. You may discard this card to prevent an investigator on your space from losing up to 2 health. And he starts with a composed condition. That's pretty strong, I think. When resolving a test, if you do not roll any ones, you may re-roll all of your dice. When you fail a test, flip this card. So especially if you have tests with less dice, it clearly improves your chances, because the odds are that you might not roll once if you only roll 2 or 3 dice. We see. So, of course, he's got a special action. You or another investigator on your space may discard 1 injury or illness condition and or perform a rest action. When you or another investigator on your space performs a rest action, that investigator may recover 1 additional health. I will find answers, even if it kills me. No? Okay. Now, I already said that the new expansion, or more or less new, I mean it's, I don't know, maybe a year old or something, came also with personal stories. And I did the same that I did already also in my Arkham playthroughs. I don't use the personal stories now all the time, or I don't use them never. I kind of determine randomly if an investigator will have its personal story or not, and Vincent Lee will have some. So let's see what he wants to do. Title is The Doctor is In. The Hippocratic Oath states that one must never harm a patient, and by God you have lived by that code. You have no fear that you would ever harm another. You only have fear that what you do will never be enough. So, when a mystery is solved, discard this card and gain the Do No Harm reward. When another investigator is defeated with 0 health, discard this card and gain the Mortal Wounds consequence. So it's a little bit like in Arkham Horror. You have a second card here, and one is the reward, and another one is the consequence, and I don't know any of these. So I just want to try to get nobody killed before the first mystery is solved. That should be possible, I guess. Okay, by the way, if you don't know the rules about this, I'm not going to go into detailed rules here. I'm just going to explain the few additional things we're going to see from the new expansion. But if you want to learn the rules, you could either see my first playthrough of that, but there are also tons of other playthroughs or teaching videos that might be better. So here we have now Trish Scarborough. And, well, Nice. That picture is definitely better. And she's a spy. And I'm pretty sure we've seen her in one of my earlier playthroughs already. Everyone expected great things from Trish when she was young. In school, she excelled in athletics and the sciences, but she surprised everyone after graduation by settling into a humble position at a commercial code company. What almost no one knows is that this particular company is a front for the Bureau's code-breaking agency, the Black Chamber. Now she finds herself in the city of Krasnoyarsk, meeting another agent who has important information about an impending threat from a world beyond our own. So she starts here, Krasnoyarsk, and she starts with a 45 automatic. So this weapon here, and it gives her +3 strength during combat encounters. And she will not have a personal story. Her action is, if you do not have any clues, gain 1 clue. If an investigator on your space spends a clue to reroll a die, he may reroll up to 2 dice instead. So basically that means she can easily use a clue to reroll it, to reroll 2 dice, because she can get a clue by an action anyway. That's pretty awesome. We lie all the time, but the truth is in there. You just have to know how to decode people. Then the next character is Kate Winthrop, the scientist. Quiet and resourceful, Kate Winthrop has been obsessed with studying dimensional instability ever since her friend and mentor Professor Young was devoured by a beast from another world. Following a peculiar dream and a string of mysterious disappearances, Kate has come to the University of Buenos Aires to continue her research. Now that preliminary testing has been completed on her flux stabilizer, Kate is no longer content to sit idly by. She is determined to seek revenge for the death of her colleague. Sorry, I don't know if you could read that, but, well, I read it to you. So, she starts here in Buenos Aires, and she starts with a one-dimensional study task. Now this is this one here, and it says once per round, when a gate is closed or discarded, you may spend 1 clue to place 1 clue on this card. Then you may flip this card. So we don't know what's on the other side, but we'll find out, I guess. Her action: if you are on a space containing a gate, discard 1 monster on your space with toughness less than your observation. Okay, their observation is 4, so that's quite a bit. And if a gate would spawn on your space, discard the gate and gain 1 clue instead. Professor Young taught me that everything is simpler than it seems. The connection is there if you look for it. And finally, we've got Patrice Hathaway. And as you might guess, she is a violinist. So, hailed as a musical prodigy from her youth, Patrice has performed for royalty and society's brightest minds all around the world. For years, she thought that her consciousness simply drifted as she played, but she's come to believe that an intelligence exists behind her visions. Somehow, the notes form a bridge between her own mind and another. The more she gasps what her music exposes her to, the more afraid she becomes. After last night's concert in Sydney, she's finally decided to take action. Okay, so we see her here in Sydney. And she starts with a banishment spell. This thing here. And it's a ritual and says it's an action. Test lore +2. She's got a lore of 3, I think. If you pass, discard one monster on the nearest space containing a gate with toughness equal to or less than your test result. Then flip this card. She also comes with a personal story, and let's see what that says. With each incident, the dark forces that gnaw at the back of your mind grow stronger. You pour your heart and soul into your music, knowing that each performance might be your last. It says cadenza. After you perform your action ability, which we see what that's going to be, if you have 3 or more improvement tokens, discard this card and gain the inspiring virtuoso reward. At the end of the encounter phase, if there are clues on the game board equal to or greater than the number of investigators +6, discard this card and gain the chant de signe consequence. Okay, so I mean, 10 clues on the board is quite unlikely, so there might be not too much hurry. Let's see what her special ability is. You may spend, you may spend 1 clue and 1 focus to improve 1 skill of your choice. Let's see. When you close a gate during an otherworld encounter, gain 1 clue and 1 focus. Well, that comes in handy. When I play the violin, the music echoes in other worlds. Okay. Okay, now let's see about the ancient one. We got this guy here, Syzygy. And basically we can see his cultists here sitting around some occult symbols. It's definitely looking kind of dangerous. So it says, what does it says? Here. When the planets align with the center of the universe and the earth falls under the shadow of an eclipse, that which would devour all life seeks to pierce the veil that keeps the darkness at bay. Oh, okay. So, what do we have? When the omen advances to the red space of the omen track, place 1 Eldritch token on that space. Okay, now that would be at the bottom here. At the end of the mythos phase, if 2 mysteries have been solved, or there are 3 Eldritch tokens on the red space of the omen track, flip this sheet and resolve the portal opens effect. So that seems kind of special. Usually if you have 3 mysteries done, you win the game. Here, more stuff seems to happen. When Doom advances to 0, investigators lose the game. So that means, usually when Doom advances to 0, you flip the card and see what happens. In this case, you're done. And that sounds actually a little more interesting to me, because usually what my experience is, when Doom advances to 0, you're totally fucked already, and then you have to flip the card and play on for 15 minutes or so, which is just terribly boring. Okay, it also says here, set aside all Syzygy special encounters. Well, these are the one over there. There are 2 decks of special encounters here, and I've set them aside. And then it says set up the Mystic Ruins encounter deck, which I also did, and we have that here. Mystic Ruins encounter deck. And of course we also prepared the mythos deck. The cultists. The horror is equal to the number of Eldritch tokens on the red space of the omen track, and toughness is equal to that number plus 1. Okay. So, then I also have drawn a prelude card, and that is indeed very, very good for me, I think, at least. And let's see. It says, written in the stars. Preparations were made by those that came before, and for that you are thankful, but the prophesied time is at hand, and gratitude is the last thing in your mind. You study the journal passed down to you by your mother, and her mother before her, going back as far as the time of the Egyptian pharaohs. The complicated diagrams chart the movement of stars and other celestial entities over hundreds of years, but all the patterns point to one thing: total annihilation. Your knowledge makes you vulnerable. The despair of predetermination weighs heavily upon you, but it also makes you stronger. Forewarned, as they say, is forearmed. Okay. Now, it says, after resolving setup, retreat doom by 3. Well, I did that. We have a doom here 13, and now the doom is at 16. During this game, play with the top gate of the gate stack revealed. We did that too. And as you can realize, it's the Amazon. When the omen advances to the omen that corresponds to the top gate of the gate stack, advance doom by 1. Okay. Furthermore, let's check the mystery card. It says, shrouded in mysticism, ancient civilizations predicting a sinister cosmic alignment built great structures that would raise a barrier to keep the world hidden from the court of Azathoth. You know, it all kind of fits. This prelude card fits perfectly with this guy, but it really was just some kind of a coincidence, or maybe it's, I don't know, call it car or whatever. After an investor resolves the Mystic Ruins encounter, he may spend 1 clue and discard 1 spell to place a clue on this card. At the end of the Mythos phase, if there are clues on this card equal to a number of investigators, solve this mystery. So that isn't easy. That isn't easy at all. So the Mystic Ruins encounter marker is at the moment here in Shanghai, right? Because the card here indicates Shanghai. And to solve these, that is not an easy task. In addition, we need to discard a clue and a spell. That's very expensive. On the other hand, it seems for now that we only have to solve 2 mysteries, but then again, we don't know what happens when we flip this card. I'm pretty sure we haven't won the game then, but there will come up something pretty evil. Okay, but here's the cool thing, and that was really not cheating, that was pure coincidence with the setup. Kate, her ability is, if a gate would spawn on your space, discard that gate and gain 1 clue instead. Now the cool part is that because of that card written in the stars, we actually know all the time where the next gate will appear. So that means if we are fast with her, we have good chances to simply cancel a lot of the appearing gates. We just have to go where the next gate shows up, and then the gate won't show up, and instead we get a clue, and that's pretty awesome. But it's getting better. Because she sits here now in Buenos Aires, and the next gate is actually in the Amazon. So that is just amazing. She can go there, she's right next to it, perfect. But it's getting better. We have even a clue here at the Amazon. So even if a gate should not show up right now, it might show up in a turn later or so, the time is not wasted. We can hang out there, try to get the clue, and so that is a perfect starting position from that point of view. It's really amazing. And it's even getting better. We have a very strong reserve here. We have 4 really good items. We have here a Mystic Tome. When you gain this card from the deck or reserve, gain 2 spells and discard 1 spell. When you perform a rest action, recover 1 additional sanity. And that is awesome because we need spells. We need to discard spells because of this mystery here. So this thing is cool because it gives us a spell for free and an additional advantage. Then we have this one here, the Map of the Ley Lines. Gain +1 lore and +1 will. Once per round, you may reroll 1 die when resolving a test during an Otherworld encounter. That is simply a great card, no doubt about that. Then we have the Tome of Horrors. Gain +2 during combat encounters, +2 will. Reduce the horror of monsters you encounter by 1 to a minimum of 1. Fantastic card for a fighter because the horror is usually for strong fighters the bigger danger than the fight itself, right? And that will help a lot there. And finally we have the Arcanist, an ally. When you gain this card from the deck or reserve, gain 2 spells, then discard 1 spell. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a lore test as part of a spell effect. Another fantastic card, especially it gives us another spell, and that's again what we have to pay. So we have 2 cards sitting here which will give us additional spells that will all help us solving this mystery. So I'm not saying this is going to be easy, but hey, I mean, we really have a strong start here, and I definitely think this should give us a chance to win that. We started here, we spawned the first gate in Rome, and we have a fire vampire here. Now this guy is physical resistance, which kind of sucks. I gotta check what it actually says. I think it says, at least in Arkham it does, that the physical weapons, the standard weapons, only give you half the advantage. But I gotta check that. So, let's start. I want to start with Kate Winthrop. And, well, so we got now another additional action, and this is already now the 3rd player aid card in the game. The first one was without the focus action, and now we have another action which is the gather resources action. It says gain 1 resource. And they look like little boxes. I don't know where they are actually. Great. Okay, so there are the resources, and similar to the focus tokens, you can only have up to 2 of them, and you can spend them to wait a second. You can spend them to add 1 success to your acquire asset roll, or if you rest, you can wait a second. Let's check the rules here once again. I'm not absolutely sure how that works. I think you can heal an additional... Yeah, you can heal an additional health or sanity for each resource spent. And you spend any number of resources to add 1 success to your test result for each resource spent. And that is kind of cool, and you can also trade them. But that allows you to have to get also the really high price. That increases your chances to really get the high price items here, like the 4 item and so, which was very hard for weaker people to get. But if you now have 2 and you can take a loan, and it's not that big anymore, it's all good. Okay. Ah, damn it, I remember what I wanted to look up. And that was the resistance. So yeah, actually it doesn't work like Arkham Horror, that you have a difference between physical resistance and immunity. This is not the case here. You simply cannot use any weapons that give you an advantage except for magical weapons. So that kind of sucks. But okay, I already have an idea how we might be able to handle that. So it's Kate now. She's sitting in Buenos Aires. And I want to go to the Amazon. So I think I'm going to give myself a ship ticket. And then simply going to move here to the Amazon and see what happens. And want to be there because of this threat of a gate in the Amazon. Now it's Patrice, and well, okay, now she's sitting here in Sydney, and what is it she wants to do? I think I want to try the banishment, because I can get rid of this sucker here, because this is actually the nearest gate, because it's the only gate. Now if I test lore +2, that would give me 5 dice, right? Just a second. Someone, I'm not sure who it was, someone started with a clue. She started with a clue. And, there we go. And damn, I have to check. Maybe some others also did, sadly. Yeah, actually she starts with a clue token. And I think what I want to do is... I'm considering to do a focus action. So that gives me a focus marker, which allows me to re-roll a die. And now I want to try to do this banishment spell. And to do that, we gotta roll now 5 dice. Oh shit. Yeah, we gotta roll 5 dice, and because this guy has a toughness of 2, we gotta roll 2 successes, which is not terribly easy, but it's possible, and we have a reroll. So let's hope for the best. Nah, that wasn't great. So I want to spend that focus and hope for the best here. Fuck. Yeah, that wasn't great. So of course I'm not going to spend the clue. So that sucked. I'm going to flip the card. We have 1 success. The magic warps your perception of time and space. Lose 1 sanity. Okay, so we were kind of unlucky here. But we still can try it again, of course. But that might cost me time then. Okay, so that was her. That wasn't too great. Vincent Lee. Now, he's the guy sitting here. And, you know, I have a fairly good influence. So I think I might want to try to get one of these cool items here. So let's roll a die. That was pretty awesome. These are 2 successes. That is very, very good. Okay, so with 2 successes, I could even take this map of the ley lines, because because it gives me, I could take a lone, which would give me 2 additional successes, and then I could take that card, and that is a very, very good card, obviously. However, I wonder actually, it says roll 1 additional die when resolving a test, and that one says gain +1. So I wonder if you can use them both during the same test. I gotta check that. Well, this is tricky because, you know, it says reroll 1 die. I get it. Okay, so actually this is not even an issue here. Oh yeah, if he gets a +1 here, roll 1 additional die. I'm not sure if this, the words say you get a bonus. If you get a bonus, in example +1, then you can only have the highest bonus, right? Does that count as a bonus? Well, I don't know actually, but I think it does, you know, I mean, anyway, I think I prefer that card. I want to take the Arcanist and get it and then give it to Patrice, because she's a fantastic magician, and we need the spells. So although that card might be overall more valuable, I think for our task, this card is actually better. But we got to take a loan anyway, and the sad thing is we will actually lose 1 influence, if we want to tell it that. And as a second action, we can now roll against that loan, and I think we also have. I haven't done that for a while. Now let's see. We have here. Yeah, that's a depth, exactly. So we take a depth condition here. Okay, and we got to test. We can now test influence, and if we pass, we can already discard the card. So we got to roll 3 dice, and we did it. Again, 2 successes. So that means that the card actually goes away, and we managed to get this cool ally, and we can now draw 2 spells and discard 1 of them. And I'm going to draw from the bottom because I don't want to see the top, right? I don't want to see what the next spell would be. Spectral Razor. When resolving a combat encounter, you may test lore. If you pass, roll 1 additional die when resolving the strength during that encounter. I don't know, that's not too good. When resolving a combat encounter, you may test lore -1 if you wow, gain +5 during that encounter. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, I think I want to go with that. I'm going to take the wreck. Sadly, we have to also discard spells, so if we only have the great spells, it might be kind of frustrating. But anyway, I think it makes sense to do that. So I'm going to place it here on top of the deck, and kind of as a discard pile. Okay, so yeah, that was then my action, and we can replenish the reserve, and we get a Mystic Bounty Hunter. Gain +1 strength during combat encounters, gain +2 lore when resolving spell effect. Holy crap. This is indeed pretty awesome. A lot of spell stuff here. So maybe we might have two really good magicians or wizards in our group. And now it's Trish Scarborough, and she also has a fine influence. So she's also sitting here, or she's sitting here, and right now that stupid fire vampire is not gone. So I think what I want to do is, I want to try to also acquire some assets here from the reserve. So I'm also going to roll 3 dice, and well, I would need, actually I don't even need a success, we're going to see. Well, that's cool, that is 1 success. I'm going to also take a loan and get myself, well, actually, you know what? I think I want to get myself the Tome of Horrors, because I'm more of a fighter, and I think that will help me more. So it says, gain +2 will during combat encounters, and I'm not too great in will. Reduce the horror of monsters you encounter by 1 to a minimum of 1. Fantastic. So we have to take a loan though. Gonna roll for that loan right away with our second action. And that was a success here. So we're good. And we can replenish. And it's a newspaper report. After resolving a research encounter, you may spend 1 clue you gained from that encounter to discard this card to retreat doom by 1. Not bad. Might be worth it. But I don't really think we're going to need that, to be honest. Because, well, find out. Okay, let's not be over-optimistic here. So, we're done with the action phase. And now we're going to draw the top card of the Mythos deck and resolve that. And it's not a good start. We have here these tentacles. That's always a very bad sign. So first, this thing here moves on 1 space. It's a bad start. Oh, no, it's not bad. But here these suckers activate, and that isn't good at all. Because that means now that fire vampire will actually activate. And let's see what that says. It says, move this monster 2 spaces toward the nearest investigator. Well, you know what? I think I actually forgot the encounter phase. So I'm gonna undo that. Yeah, I forgot the encounter phase. Of course I did. That was stupid. But anyway, I think we don't get a big advantage for knowing that this guy will move, because I cannot do a lot against that anyway. So we start with her encounter. She sits in the Amazon. So she's going to take one of these mythic encounters here and trying to get the clue token. Let's see what we get. Wilderness. At a ruined temple in the hills, you attempt to communicate with the spirits of the people who once lived here. Well, that's going to be hard. I have only very little influence. Only a 1 or 1 die, because it's a -1 test here. And I didn't make it. If you fail, they perceive you as a threat and expel you magically from their temple. Move to a random space. That is terrible. That is exactly what should not have happened, because, well, obviously I wanted to be there, and I already know that a gate will open there, so that gate will show up. It's hard to get there, so that was extremely unlucky. I mean, I could do a re-roll. I could spend that clue token. Do I want to do that? I want to stay there. I think, you know what, I think I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to spend that clue token. I know it's kind of crazy. Shit, I don't know which one I think. But I want to do that. This would be a very bad situation if we would be thrown out of this one. Ah, fuck it. Okay, now it's done, and we actually got to do it. Yeah. So we got to go to Arkham. Okay. Well, not great. It's not too bad, but we're gonna see where the next gate then opens. So, shit. That was bad luck right at the beginning. It was a good plan, but I mean, who could expect shit like that? And then it's Patrice Hathaway, and she sits in Sydney. So we're gonna draw the card for Sydney because we want to improve our strength, because our goal is to get these 3 improvements done. Spearfishers teach you proper diving technique, improve strength. That's good. Awesome. You explore some of the harbor's many shipwrecks. So we got to do an observation test, and we're not bad in doing these. We have a 3 here. Oh boy, look at that. If you fail, you push yourself too hard, gain 1 injury condition. Yeah, great. Luckily, we probably will meet with a doctor, which allows us then to get rid of our injury. Vincent Lee. So he's in a city, right here. So he draws a city card, a generic city. The police ask for your help investigating a series of ritual killings. The grisly crime scenes threaten to overwhelm you with chills and nausea. Well, maybe not. We have a 4 will, which is definitely strong. So let's do that. And we did. If you pass, you manage to examine the scene and find significant information. Spawn 1 clue. Okay, it's just spawning. It's not that good, but it's something. So that is in Istanbul. Okay, not bad. And finally, it's Trish Scarborough, and she is also in a city. This city is home to an exclusive club for world travelers. Krasnoyarsk. You try to convince them that granting you a membership could be a prestigious feather in their cap. Okay, so we have not too little influence, so there might be actually a chance to do it. We didn't. If you... well, okay, so it wasn't too bad. No consequences if you fail this test. Okay, but anyway, that wasn't too great, especially this one here really didn't hurt. That sucked hard. So now we're gonna come up with this crappy card here, and so this moves on now 1 space, as we've already seen. Now the fire vampire activates, and it says move this monster 2 spaces toward the nearest investigator. Now he's kind of in the middle here, which is interesting. Then each investigator on this space loses 1 health. I'm not sure what actually we can choose here, or let me see if there's something like that in the rules. So the active investigator actually may choose here. I think actually I would prefer... yeah, I would prefer her to go here. Then each investigator on this space loses 1 health. Okay, so this guy sits now here, and she loses a health. Fine. And then we got to spawn another gate, and yeah, it sucks. Hope I'm not making mistakes here. No, that's another gate. Extremely unlucky here in the Amazon. I don't actually remember, what about this clue token? Does that go away or not? Yeah, I don't think so. I think the clue token remains there. And then we have here a Gnop K. This guy goes somewhere different. He goes into the Himalayas. Okay. Fine. And great. Yeah, fuck it. I'm already kind of frustrated here because I couldn't prevent that from happening. Let's see where the next one will show up. In Buenos Aires. Well, okay, I mean, that's kind of cool. You know, we can go there, we can travel there, and maybe we can then stop that one at least from appearing. And there might be even a chance then that we can move back to the Amazon. I mean, we're not terribly lucky there, but it's something. And the cool thing is that we can gain spells in Buenos Aires, and we're going to need those. So overall, I think that wasn't too bad. However, let's see. What does that say? No, when the omen advances to the omen that corresponds to the top gate of the gate stack, advance doom by 1. So it now did advance. Now it would correspond, but now it's kind of too late for that. Okay, let's continue now. We are all going to die. Your anonymity was an illusion. The servants of the Ancient One know exactly who you are. They know what you are afraid of, and they know how to hurt you. They will make you suffer until you can endure no more, and even then they will not stop. It sounds like it might be a good idea to just finish this game right away. Each investigator rolls 1 die and loses a total amount of health and or sanity equal to the die result. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, seriously, that is just bullshit, you know. This is just bullshit. Okay, anyway, let's do it. So this guy rolls a die. That's a 4. So obviously we're going to discard our bandages, right? Yeah. So the bandages go away. And then we lose 2 more. And I think I'm going to lose 1 each then. Okay, there we go. Now what about her? Great. Yeah, that's a 6, man. This is bullshit. I mean, seriously, you know, where's the fun in this game? When you draw a card like that, this is just... I don't know, boys. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This is just too rough. This is just not fair anymore. Maybe I should really consider removing these tentacle cards because, you know, I mean... Yeah, okay. Anyway. Kate. A 1, at least something here. So she throws away the sanity and the good old Patrice here. Yeah, another 6, great. Okay, I mean, this is just ridiculous. Okay, well, I mean, okay, we can try to rest. The odds are now a little better when you rest in this game now. You can get your resources, but of course this will cost us a lot of time and you know, I mean, just ridiculous. Boy, what a game. Overall, I think we can easily say we had a terrible start. It looked good at the beginning. After 1 round, I'm already totally pissed. I can really say that because the thing is, this simply feels unfair. And that's something I really find hard to endure, you know. And it's written on the card, actually, you know. They're going to fuck you up until you can endure no more. And I'm really close to that point right away. Okay, anyway, let's hope things will be better in the next turns, and let's keep on fighting. Yeah, I'm gonna load this up now, and hope to see you on the next videos or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not gonna play with these cards. I mean, they simply destroy my game. I want to enjoy the game, and things like that don't make any sense to me. You know, you want to build up your tactics, and you want to try to come up with a nice plan, and then you draw a card and half of your crew is half dead. I don't see a lot of sense in that. You can do this in a game like Dungeon Quest, which goes on for half an hour and then it's over and then it's cool. But if you play a game which takes 5 to 8 hours, right, and you come up with a crappy card like this, I don't know, I don't think I want to do that. In addition to that, you know, I've checked the deck. I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 cards with these tentacles. You know, some are real beauties, like, I don't know, I mean, like, shit like that. Each investigator discards 1 item, 1 ally, 1 task, 1 spell, 1 clue, 1 focus, and 1 improvement. I'm sorry, but what is wrong with these guys? I mean, who came up with these things? You know, I really don't get that. You know, it's like you make a downhill race and plant a tree in the middle of the hill or something. This is just bullshit. You know, it just kills your game and it takes the fun totally out of it. The lead investigator discards 1 item possession, 1 ally asset, 1 task asset, 1 spell, 1 talent condition, 1 clue, 1 focus, and 1 improvement. What? Then she gets 1 injury, 1 madness, and 1 bane. You know, I mean, seriously? I'm not gonna do that. Okay, I'm not gonna play with these suckers. Forget about that. This is just not fair. So I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna construct myself a new deck, and then we're gonna see what happens. And hey, maybe I'm even lucky, and the thing will not come up, but I doubt that. Actually, I might place the yellow card on top, because then I know that the gate will show up, you know, and I don't have that additional advantage. But I'm just getting rid of these shitty cards. I guess I'm gonna burn them or something. So yeah. Oh no, I'm gonna resolve this this card here on camera before I say goodbye. Okay, I'm back, and actually, yeah, I changed the cards now. We have now a deck, a completely new built deck with cards without the tentacles. And I also gave my guys, of course, their life points back. In addition, I forgot to give her an injury condition, and she ended up with a back injury from her diving incident there, or accident. So there we go. This says, when you perform a rest action, you may roll a die on a 5 or 6, discard the card. Test strength. If you fail, flip this card. That's going to happen now. Okay, so because I don't want to give me the advantage of this gate not showing up, what I did is I placed the yellow card on top. I don't know what card it is, I just know it's a yellow card. So basically we have exactly the same things happening as before, right? That guy is activated, and we have to activate this back injury. We didn't do that earlier on, so we got to roll 2 dice here. And we made it, so we're good. That's very good. And let me see, was there something else we have to activate? I don't think so right now. This guy showed up after This guy, he spawned with the gate, so technically that happened later. Okay, now let's see. We have Shattered Magic. You believed you could harness the power of these mysterious treasures. You were wrong. Now they lie in ashes, consumed by their own strange energies. In the end, they were nothing more than fuel to hasten the coming catastrophe. Each investigator discards half of his magical positions, then advance doom by 1 for each artifact discarded that way. I think here we are kind of lucky. Yeah, I don't think we have any magical possessions. Okay, so we're fine here. And okay, there we go. So, you know, seriously, I kind of want to enjoy my games, and that was just a shock. That was just too much for me. I think I never did that before, that I really altered a game that significantly on camera. But that was just, wow, that was just ridiculous, you know. I was looking forward to play that, to have a few nice days in the evening and playing that game. Then you draw a card like that, and you're really pissed. Nope, that's not going to happen again. It's hard enough, I guess. You know, we were not too lucky here with this incident here. So, we didn't manage to get rid of this guy, of the fire vampire. He also poses a threat. So overall, it's not too great, but at least it's not a disaster. And yeah, we can still hope to still make it, and we can move, for example, now with her or with her, not sure, to Rome, close the gate before the marker advances to this red spot here. Of course, we have a problem now. But I think I kind of prefer to go to Buenos Aires with her to prevent the new gate from showing up. Maybe she goes to Rome instead and tries to close that one. And we'll see what we can do with the other two guys. Okay, yeah. So hope to see you in the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.